What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a couple weeks since we've done a YouTube video. Hopefully you enjoyed the shorts. Today we're going to be working on the Camaro. I am putting it up on jack stands, so you're going to see me put it up on jack stands and start taking things off of it. Everything has to come off before it can get better and everything can go back on, so we're gonna attempt it. We have another guy here. He's doing the railing to the house and building steps. So yeah, so if you see somebody else walking in the background, that's who that is. My friend Tristan is going to be joining me here in a few minutes, and so hopefully everybody will enjoy this. But without further ado, let's get on into it. We've got to start by putting it up on jack stands. So hope you guys enjoy it. All right, guys. So it's about a week later. I'm very bad at filming some of these things, but figured y'all wouldn't want to see me struggle with stuff on the car, because I started filming and I started unbolting stuff, and I realized that the bolts didn't want to come out. So I am now back a week later. I'm going to show you my progress with the car. Oh yeah, buddy. It's been raining. But so I have the car up on jack stands. Have a spare jack there because my friend was nervous. He didn't want to go under here without the jack being under there. But here in the engine bay, we have everything disconnected. The wire and harness is here. I'm going to throw that more over the top here later. The brakes are disconnected out of the ABS module. Fuel lines are disconnected. The radiator is disconnected. The hardest part of this was the AC unit. I did not want it to blow up in my face, first off, and it's also against the law to let it into the ozone. So, you know, so you can go to your local auto parts store. This is something that we discovered. And for the AC stuff right here, you need a big wrench first off to undo the AC from there. To undo it from there, you need a very, very large wrench. The fittings look like that, but on this one it's bigger than that. We had a 27 millimeter, and then I recommend getting like an adjustable wrench or some pliers and applying pressure on the other part of it right here. It's just something, you know, to do. We have gotten everything else out. The bolt these right here, the brake lines, sorry, it's still early in the morning. The brake lines are I think a 12 millimeter wrench, and there's a brake line wrench for the, specifically built for brake lines. You should not have to cut your exhaust. I did, because I'm running without a catalytic converter on the V6. So for you guys at home, you should not have to unbolt the exhaust. Let me get under here and show you guys. You should have to just unbolt the exhaust. For me, I cut the exhaust right there. I left enough room so that way when I get the Y pipe out here, I should have enough room to clamp down, and if I need to, I can cut more off, like that. Currently, we ran into an issue with the drive shaft. So in a V6 Camaro, it is a 2-piece drive shaft and not a 1-piece drive shaft. When I get it out, I can show you a little bit better. But right now, it's a little stuck in the in there. There are 4 bolts holding it in. You're gonna have to put the car in neutral pretty much and twist everything like that. Twist it around so that way you can get to the other, I call it the yoke. There's 2 U brackets holding it on the yoke, on the back of the car, the rear end of the car, and there's 2 and 2, or 1 and 1 on each side, so makes up of 4 bolts, and that's what you're gonna have to use to get that out. When you do that, if it's stuck like mine is, I'm about to take a pry bar. And I'm gonna pry it from the rear, and I'm gonna pry it forward and push it forward, because it should just push. You should be able to push it into the rear end of the transmission, and it'll come out the back and then pull it forward. Mine is not doing that, so we're going to do that as well. Also, you should take pictures of everything as you're doing it, and also take bags and mark all the bolts as they're coming out, where they go, what they do. But other than that, everything is off the car besides the drive shaft. And then there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 more bolts to take off. And then there are 4 K-member bolts after those 10 bolts, and 2 cross-member bolts, if I'm not mistaken. But the bolts are here, so you got the nut that I'm gonna have to take these off of here. This is to the suspension. It'll look like this coming out. Looking at our old K-member, got this and this come off, and then the other 2 bolts go into there, and it holds that on. But it should be Torx screws. However, I think my car has had the engine out 2 times before, so I think they must have stripped the Torx screws. So the Torx screws should look like this, right there, and like that. So there are 6 of those to take off, and that'll drop the suspension, or there's 8 of those to drop off. That'll drop the suspension, and then we've got to get the bolts off the bottom of the right now the word is slipping from my mind, but there are 2 here on the bottom of it, and it will take all that off. And then there are 4 K-member bolts, 2 on each side. All right, so we've actually got the drive shaft out now. When you get the drive shaft out, yeah, it's gonna pretty much release all of the transmission fluid out of here. So that's interesting. I should have had the catch can ready, or the drain pan ready, but you know, it is what it is. Here's the 2-piece drive shaft. We don't ever have to use that baby ever again. Here it is, and she's leaking too. I think what exactly happened is that I had to shove it so far into the transmission, and it would not come out. That yeah, that's why everything's leaking as bad as it is. However, this is your 2-piece drive shaft. There are 2 bolts holding it in. These were a pain in the royal butt to get out. It will be a lot easier with a lift, but these are your 2 bolts. Right now those 2 bolts are under there, but yeah, the drive shaft's out. Transmission is still draining, which is not probably a good thing, but I think we are ready to pretty much get this car out of the, or to get the engine out of this car. I was hoping to have some friends come over and do some work. My mother has, Siri is being stupid. My mother is sick with COVID right now, so that is out of the question. So I'm doing what I can while I can. And I'm hoping that this transmission fluid drains out properly. I need to put this back in park. Another thing that you guys might want to consider if you're doing this without a lift. Okay, doing this without a lift, like me on a slanted surface, I jacked up the rear of the car just enough where the tires came off, so that way I could rotate the drive shaft as needed with my hand by putting it into neutral, and I rotated it as needed with my hand to get it into position. That way nothing's like locked down or anything, and the tires will still spin freely. So that might be another thing that you might want to do. I'm gonna lower this back down. That is still draining, and I have a lot of ATF all over my driveway. Rainbow colors are about to come out for the next couple of rains. So do not do that. That is also against the law. That is my bad. I will put some oil dry down. But yeah, that's something that I would recommend. So stick with me. We're gonna get this engine out today.